Well, officially, welcome to the broadcast, everyone. We are so excited to have you all here with us this month. We've got a lot to go over. As you saw in the invites, this is all about breaking down how to get you guys maximizing your commissions and consistently getting commissions. This isn't just about tech and tactics. This is so much more. So I'm very excited for today's broadcast. Now, just a reminder, we do have that chat box open. We definitely want you using that throughout the event today. Make sure you're putting your questions, feedback throughout it. We will be asking for that as always. We want to see that in there. So keep that chat box going. If you don't see it open, you can open it in the upper, I believe it's right-hand corner of the visual there. I highly recommend having your screen full screen on the browser so that way you can have chat and the visual at the same time. Again, it's super exciting for us and you to be able to use that feedback and interactive option. Now, there are other reasons we want you to use that as well. One of the things is we can get you entered in a kit giveaway. So if you are using that chat box and putting your questions and feedback in there, you have liked and subscribed to our Facebook. You're also subscribed on our YouTube. You can get entered for that kit giveaway. So another reason to make sure you are being interactive during the event today. Now, I mentioned today is not just about tech and tactics, it's about so much more. We really want to make sure we're helping you guys starting to produce right now. So in order to do that, I would love to get started by introducing into the event today, Ryan and Kendra Maddock. Ryan and Kendra, welcome to the event.
Thank you so much, Heather, and welcome everybody. We're so happy to be here. End of summer, I think, has come and gone, and we here in Michigan have definitely welcomed in the fall.
It was like, well, it's like 68 now, but it was
like
in the
40
30s,
degrees this morning.
Yep.
But we're excited to have everybody here today. We're going to talk about a subject that we are excited about.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the things we want to talk about is some of what we're seeing, not just in our industry, the tax industry, or the service industry, but what we're seeing in our partners industry and you guys. And what I mean by that is, many of you, you're real estate agents, you're in financial services, insurance services, tax services. A lot of you are consultants, things like that. And so, one of the things we're seeing is there's a pretty big shift that's been happening this year for really everyone. We get kind of a front row seat into seeing what people are doing that's working really well. And, so we wanted to kind of share that a little bit. So, but Kendra, we got to kind of start with some of the problematic side of what we're seeing before we can really shift into.
Yeah, we wanted to start on this because we want you guys to understand that what you go through affects us. And always, if you're going through something that's hard, it's hard for us because we're here to help you. If you guys are doing something and it's great and it's benefiting you, we get to feel that too. And we want you to understand that we do see you and we do see the things that you struggle with in your core industries. And today we're going to touch on that initially, but then we're also going to talk about a solution to some of those problems. So kind of visually, I want to take you through something that many of you are probably facing if you're facing these things. So if your phone isn't ringing, if you're out there and you're so sick and tired of posting and begging for those
number of marketing programs I see there, like, just go post it.
Especially LinkedIn. I see a lot of feedback that I'm just still struggling. Like, I'm out there trying to connect and I'm begging for it. If you feel like your commissions in your core industry just keep feeling like they're dropping.
Another big thing is people said that 2025 was such a shock,
right?
To see these residual accounts that have been around forever,
and some of them have just disappeared on you.
Just aren't there.
Yeah, you have tried every tool that's been talked about. We're in this new AI, era, and you've tried everything. Like, they're just throwing, use this. You're not going to be successful unless you use this. And you're out there and you're doing all of that, and yet when you're turning and you're opening that bank app, you're still not happy with the numbers that you see.
You're watching those residual accounts just go down
your
and down.
Gut clenches when it's time to go in and look at this. We want you to understand that you're not alone, but you are definitely at a point where you're at a crossroads also in that situation.
And not just for those that we've had the pleasure of knowing for quite a while. Maybe about 5-6 months ago, Kendra, we added an affiliate section to the website. And throughout that, we've had so many people that were on our site, on one of your landing pages, click on the affiliate information. One of the things we ask in there is, what brought you here? Mm-hmm. What made you interested in this? And these are the same topics that we see because we tend to see the same 5 or 10 industries over and over again.
Mhm.
And we tend to see these same topics over
Or
and
pain
over again.
points
Yeah.
that the industries we tend to work with for our affiliates are experiencing as a whole.
Yeah. So, in that, one of the things we're seeing with, with you folks, with your peers, is there's really one of two things going on. We talk to a lot of people, Kendra, that are leaving their industry.
Mhm.
They're just having burnout. They're leaving financial services. They're leaving real estate. I mean, I've been blown away to hear some stories about people that have been in, real estate for, their whole lives, their whole careers.
Decades.
And, now it's like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm starting this consulting firm. I'm doing this other thing. And, so there's burnout, or what we're going to talk about a little bit today.
A solution.
So, yeah.
If you will. First
Kendra,
thing,
Heather, I'm going to unplug camera 3, by the way, because it's having a grand mal sheet.
we can see it out of a corner of our eyes.
Yeah.
You guys can't see any of this, but we have all the screens, and the one camera is like blinking at us. So we do want to talk about initially why you're stuck. And this isn't a negative thing. We have to recognize issues before we can figure out how to fix them, or figure out what solutions you may already have at your disposal. And why you're stuck, we're going to talk about a couple of those things right now. We're going to talk about 4 in specific.
Yeah. I want to just take a minute too. I love when these are interactive, and in addition to all the hellos and everything. I haven't read these yet, so forgive me, but join the conversation,
Yes,
please. So Larry said, we are in and have been in a recession for months on end. I've been whitewashed as usual to make things appear okay. Yes, the Fed is going to cut rates this month, but how much?
Right.
Sam says, I'm posting on Facebook and LinkedIn, but I'm not seeing any results.
You're not alone, guys. This is what we're hearing from everybody in all of the industries that we tend to work with for you as affiliates or advisors, whichever name you kind of refer to yourselves as.
Henry comments what many of us have felt, and that is that tariffs are not helping by any means. And one more is that social media going on, but not much action there.
Yeah.
So a lot of ditto, a lot of people, hearing the same thing, which again,
so we're striking the chord, which is exactly what we hope to do. We have to, or you guys have to know that we understand where you're coming from, and we understand what you're dealing with. And we're going to try to propose a pretty decent solution to that today.
Now, by the way, comments are by platform. So if you're seeing stuff, you say, I don't see that on my screen. You'll notice, Terry is on the website, whereas Mr. Thomas he's got a little YouTube logo.
Yeah.
So he's on YouTube. So if you don't see the comments, they're on there per platform. And you can only see the comments that are on the platform that you're on. So if you're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, on the website, whatever the case is. So, but keep that coming. Let's keep talking about, Kendra, I want to talk about this a little bit. Some of the most common things we've seen the last few months from new affiliates coming in, as well as research that we're seeing. And, Kendra, talk about this first one a little bit.
You're tapped out. And I pulled that in to kind of be our main focus visually for this webinar, but you feel like there's nothing out there. Like you've tried everything and you simply cannot find or generate any additional leads that are worth any value.
Second one I'm going to talk about is no response. And, this just ties in right here.
Checking that email
of
box.
looks on LinkedIn and 0 businesses as a result. We hear this a lot from, all the industries.
Yeah.
So no response is a really big one.
This one, I think you're all going to relate to, and it's those meetings, those webinars. Are they doing anything? I need to click, please.
Oh, sorry.
Are they doing anything? Are they generating any interest? They take a lot of our time. They take a lot of energy to get set up for them and to interact with them, not only online, but even in person. Are these meetings that we're taking so much time and effort to generate actually doing anything for us?
Yeah. And the last one that we're really hearing from people's frustration, on growing industries, or on a lot of the industries I just named, is one and done income. Nobody wants to go out there and make a sale one time and have that client leave the next year, or, as we're going to share in some of the stats, 2 and 3 years later. So you want client base that's going to gain for a long period of time. We'll talk about that, as we go.
And the title of this slide is apt. It's your daily reality. This is what all of your industries. And if we don't cover your industry specifically, I think you'll still relate to the pain points. You guys are feeling this across the board in every industry.
Yeah. So let's take a couple of these and talk a little bit about, by the way, give us a shout if this is your industry. We're going to cover a couple of them. Kendra, real estate in particular. This, for starters, if you're in real estate, or I want to give you another lens for a moment too. We really want to talk to the industry itself, but I'm also sharing the feedback that we're seeing from all the affiliate traffic. So in your local community, you may be thinking, maybe you're not in real estate, but there's somebody in your local community that is. Kendra and I were just at a conference, it kind of escapes me, I think in May. And, about a third of the people there were real estate agents. And we heard this over and over again. So I bring that up to say, even if this doesn't resonate with you in your community, there are real estate agents. They could be affiliates for you because of some of the things they're facing. For starters, Kendra, they're facing oversaturation. There's 1.6 million people that are in the real estate field.
It's crazy when you think about it.
Yeah. And now they're dealing with, I guess you could call it the Amazon effect, where we can all get out our phones and I can decide I want something. And even though I live in a rural area, it can be at my house between 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. today. If I want an Uber or some food delivered or whatever the case is, I have this instant effect. And Kendra, this is going on for people in the real estate community as well. And it's really hurting, the local business owner.
Because the expectation isn't realistic for a local business owner. So 56% of buyers and sellers in real estate are expecting a response from their agent, you guys, within 30 minutes of them reaching out. 30 minutes. Sometimes it takes me that long to get from one task to the next task, one errand to the next errand. And if they lose or they don't respond within those 30 minutes, what happens? You lose out, So the expectation of that instant gratification is affecting those of you in the real estate business.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing.
It kind of ties in. Yeah. So when you think about your local area and you think about the top real estate agents,
the local hero.
Yeah. You guys all have one in your area, your county or whatever. There's one or two of them. Only 10% of the real estate agents out there are handling 90% of the transactions. 10% of them, guys, which leaves everyone else kind of just fighting over scraps, just trying so hard to gain some kind of foothold. 10%.
Yeah. And one of the things I would say, I was talking to an agent over the summer that was going out there and they were trying to build some affiliates in the commercial real estate space. And they said, oh, there's this top guy in my area and he's doing all this business. I'm trying to get in with him and everything. And one of the things I said is, hey, that one person that you're talking about, I don't know if that's really who you want to go after because they're growing. They're the one person that's doing 90% of the transactions. They don't really see the hurt in their industry. Of course they don't because they're on top.
Right.
But all of the other agents in your area, that's really who would make good affiliates. And by the way, today's call, literally, there's nothing in my notes about helping you get affiliates. It literally just
naturally coming out.
It just came to mind because of some of the conversations I've had in the last few months. But Kendra, what's making it harder on this is not only do you have, if you're not that one person, if you're not that hero that's doing all of those transactions, then now all of a sudden you've got to deal with all that oversupply of agents, all the limited inventory, all the other things that are going on. And I got to tell you, loyalty is more fickle than ever because what's going on is people are willing to abandon the real estate relationship that they've had for, in some cases, decades, because that one super hero in the area
is claiming a lower
there.
rate.
Yeah, and they're out there. They've got drone service, and they've got 3D AI modeling where they can do all this stuff in your house and everything like that. And so people are sitting there, and they're saying, "Hey, I want to be loyal, but getting that extra like 5 to 7% for my house."
Makes all the difference.
Having it sell quicker goes such a long way. So loyalty is more fickle than ever. Kendra, the next part I want to talk about is that real estate agents, not only are they having trouble keeping their existing clients, but on top of that, lead generation is more expensive than ever before.
Yep. To the tune of anywhere between 1,000 to 3,000 per month for an average agent.
Yeah.
We're not talking about that 10%. We're talking about just an average agent out there struggling to get things going between $1,000 and $3,000 a month just on lead gen. And that's utilizing platforms like Zillow, Realtor.com, Facebook ads. And there is no guarantee that those leads are going to convert into anything, but that's a base that they have to pay just to play.
Yeah. Next industry I want to talk about. Give me a shout in the comments if you have anything to do with this industry right here.
Advisors.
I'm going to look at my comments real quick. So I'll give you guys a second to reply. Anyone on the call here that is a financial advisor, make sure I'm not in a filtered mode. Nope, I can see all comments. So
raise it, like put a hand or like say me or something.
I can't see thumbs up or handhelds, by the way, from my view. So give us a quick shout. So listen, if you're in this field, so yeah,
there they go.
So we've got a lot here.
Terry,
that
Sam, Brian, more
to kind of pour in. I appreciate that. So listen, if you're in this field, you're in the same boat. You know that you're in a saturated market. 2.5 million of you that are at this, and Kendra, same types of struggles.
Yeah. So 82% of business owners say that they don't have a financial planner that they trust. I'm going to say that again. 82% say they don't have one that they trust. And why is that? It's because they don't see any clear value or differentiation between you and the guy next to you.
Yeah. Well, and then you got to look at the skepticism that, listen, I, of all people, recognize the difference between a salesperson and a consultant, that recognize the difference between what it is you do and what it is you provide a client, and what some phone jockey is doing that's somewhere else, or some computer is doing. And so, you're left kind of breaking this stigma. And, Kendra, that doesn't even go into the difference. We'll talk a minute about robo-advisors and things like that. The difficulties you've heard talked about on some of the Friday calls and things where I don't need to tell you, but I guess to educate everybody else that's not in this field, you've got this population of boomers that everyone was going after. There were plenty of them. That population is diminishing, and the population that's supposed to replace it, Kendra, they're just not into financial traditional banking.
Way. Yeah. And
yeah. So the traditional methods really are not working. And Kendra, these folks are dealing with the same types of struggles.
That's looking at about 63% of financial advisors. They're saying that their biggest challenge, guys, is being able to get lead generation. They're spending over $5,000 a month just on lead generation.
Yeah. Now I mentioned robo-advisors, I'm talking about IT or talking about AI. And I think some of you in this field might say, oh, that doesn't impact me. Let me tell you, being heavily in the AI field ourselves, I can tell you what we're seeing here, and it is a huge shift.
I was so shocked because I wanted to know how this had grown. We saw this popping up in the mid to late teens. It's hard to say teens.
Yeah.
2016, 2017, 2018. We saw this starting and we thought, how is this going to get a foothold? But you guys, robo-advisors are expected to manage 1.2 trillion in assets this year.
By the end of this year.
Yep. That's up from 200 billion in 2018. I was amazed to see those numbers.
Yeah. I like this, and this is so accurate. So sorry, I clicked on the wrong one. Not that that's not also so accurate. Sorry, just wasn't the one I was clicking on. From Henry, Google implementing AI on their search engine is also intercepting traffic that would normally be going to a website. Right. This, even people that have spent the last 20 years mastering SEO, search engine optimization. It's all changed. AI has really changed everything. Another good one that I want to talk, I'm walking away from my Medicare business to concentrate on life, retirement, and Stride GMG. So we're hearing this a lot. And I bring that up for two things. One is I'll talk about it a little bit. And the other is I got to tell you, affiliates are all in your backyard, all dealing with the exact same thing for all these categories that we're talking through. Kendra, tax professionals.
Yep. These are those people that you've always trusted, in the past.
I trust this guy all day long.
He looks trustworthy, right?
It's the glasses.
It's got this persona that this is the guy or the lady that I've worked with for years. Ryan's been with the same CPA for 20 some years.
Yeah.
There's that mentality, but in the last 10 years, it's changed. They are losing their trust at an alarming rate.
Yeah. And part of this, Kendra, they're dealing with the same tech-driven issues. In fact, I would say, like so many, their business is being gobbled from both sides. And what I mean by this is you've got the larger firms that are coming in and gobbling up their business from that side. And then you have automation, tech-driven solutions, and small homespun solutions that are gobbling it from the other side. And so this is just, in a really bad shape. It's not like the CPA just needs to worry about H&R Block anymore. No. They've got to worry about things from every different aspect, but they're going to hit hard.
Yeah. Speaking of our client base too, we call our clients like Main Street. Those are those ones that we're out there really working with. They tend to utilize our service as well. 73% of those type of business owners have one foot out the door with their current tax preparer. Why? Because they don't feel their tax pro is proactive enough to find strategies to save them money. I want that to sink into you guys. That has been one of the things that draws so many of you to GMG. And these clients are literally leaving in droves because they don't feel, maybe this is true. Maybe their tax preparer is doing it, but they don't feel like they are.
Well, I've seen this so much where somebody was with their CPA for decades, and then they had to hear about ERC, which is a real lifesaver for so many businesses. And they had to hear about it from some robo-dialer. Yeah. They had to hear about it from a text call. They had
another business owner who got it. Yeah. I mean, how pissed off would you guys be? Like, erase everything we know about what happened, and you're with somebody for decades and they never even broached the topic with you.
Yeah. It's so you look at that aspect of things that people are looking for to be able to do things at a smaller scale. And, so Kendra, same thing, highly competitive market. Last stat I want you to kind of share
their biggest issue. And your guys are going to see a pattern here as we're going through these issues. But the tax professionals, 63% of them say that their biggest issue right now is client acquisition, replying to referrals, or they feel like they're using outdated marketing methods. And we do see that as a reality for them.
Yeah. So Reed just said, I just got hit by an ERC guy 2 times in the last month. Ironically,
we need to do a whole call on that, but what we're seeing happening on the ERC back front, but that's a different topic. Yeah. Things are interesting on the ERC situation right now.
So I like this comment too. And I want to, Aldo, thank you for this, because I think this kind of makes a point that I want to touch on a little bit. And so recently tried to open an account for a credit union for $500,000. Good for you, by the way. And we got so much hassle trying to open the account that we walked away. Businesses are so screwed up because their help is poorly trained, too scared to take any risk. I completely agree. And I'm going to add to that remember when I said these businesses are being eaten from both sides? They've got big firms coming in, highly driven by private equity, or larger companies in a whole. They're coming in and kind of revolutionizing, whether that's good or bad. And, they're just eating up that market share. And then you have these homespun companies that I'm going to massacre the stats. So I give a lot of stats. This one's probably way off, but it was like 70-80% of new unicorn businesses had 8 or less employees last year. New unicorn businesses that passed the unicorn level had 8 or less employees. What I mean by that is, guys, people that have no business being in real estate or financial services. Let me go a step further. And sorry, I'm looking for, there's our screen. So let me go a step further. When ERC came out, Kendra, out of nowhere, anyone that was good at marketing thought, well, I'm going to go out there and open an ERC business because this is such a big opportunity. And we had huge competition from people that didn't belong in our industry.
Had never touched a tax credit in their entire business lives.
But what were they good at? They were good at client acquisition. So they could go out there and do that. This is what's going on across all of these industries now. You have people that are really, really bad at, or have never done any of these services before. And it doesn't matter because the barrier to entry is so low now with AI that they're just totally consuming these businesses from both sides. So let's talk insurance. So
remember, if you're an insurance agent, let's see it in the comments too.
Yeah. Give us a heads up. And by the way, if you're in multiple of these, let us know. So many of you, I know you're in financial services. You also might have some insurance services, things like that. But Kendra, same thing here that these folks
It's crazy.
are facing.
Insurance has totally become a commodity. So 47% of insurance clients switch providers within the first 3 years. And that's what they're doing is they're citing dissatisfaction with the service or the price or whatever. They can't even get a foothold, these agents, because by the time they have any level of relationship, these people, half of them are out the door.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I was checking out all the comments. Sorry if I didn't click on you. I clicked on as many as I could.
They're constantly looking for that lower rate anyway.
You know, now with these, not only do they have clients out the door, but so they've got to go replenish those clients. And that's expensive to do.
The same thing we're talking about before. They're spending anywhere between $500 to $1,500 a month on lead gen with no reporting on the conversion rate, except for the fact that it's not really working. It's very, very low. So just to be around, just to get some level of lead generation, $500 to $1,500 a month for a basic agent.
Yeah. And so obviously I don't need to tell you if you're in this field, but I'll tell everyone else that's maybe not in this field, but you may run into potential affiliates. On top of that, they're dealing with online aggregators. They're dealing with online platforms. They're dealing with a client base that's more price sensitive than ever before. And a client base that's less loyal than ever before. And here's the worst part. This always floors me. You guys, financial services and insurance, both of those categories, always blows my mind. You're in the only field I've ever seen where the person that you're working with and for and in partnership with is directly competing with you and both trying to destroy you and help you at the same time. This would be like if General Motors put out billboards directly above the local car dealership that said, go to gm.com, pay $1,000 less. Like this just floors me. I'm sorry if you're in that industry and that's what you have to deal with. I just literally can't imagine doing that, having a long-standing partnership relationship. We try to give you everything we can to help you be successful.
Which is why that next stat is not surprising. 85% of insurance buyers say that they don't see any difference between providers. They just want the cheapest option.
Yeah. So the last field I want to talk about is consulting. And I'll tell you, I was surprised as we launched the affiliate websites a couple back in May. The number of people that when we ask, what is your profession? And we only let them do one. For years, we've always had people say, well, I'm in financial services. And then you get talking to them. We do a welcome call with every new affiliate, or sometimes they're in groups, but we still get to know people. And Kendra, normally it's like I'm in financial services, but I'm kind of aspiring to launch this consulting. Yeah. People for the first time ever are really identifying more on the consulting side. And then it's like, oh, I'm a consultant and I offer some financial services. Yeah. And so people are leaving this field. We've seen that even in some of the comments now. But Kendra, same type of thing. I
think maybe even harder. So 75% of these guys their engagements only last 6 months.
Yeah.
So how do you ever build a long-term relationship is you've just gotten through the sales process. Now you're in and you're done. So where's your opportunity to build?
This is one and done sales at its worst. Yep. By the way, the stat on the screen says 47. That's a AI mistake. The real number
changed it out. That's so weird.
I just maybe
all you're supposed to see there is not the words, but the fact that he has this revolving door.
Yeah.
And that's how it feels with the client base. They're just in and out and in and out.
So Kendra, same thing. They're being gobbled up from both sides of the equation here.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Do this one?
Yeah.
There's over 700,000 consulting firms. That was when I checked this like 3 or 4 months ago. I'm sure it's probably more. And they alone for nearly 30%. Yeah, they do the accounting for nearly 30% of the market. This is the wrong, sorry guys, I have the wrong note on the screen. Anyway, basically the fact that the market share just is not equal when it comes to consulting.
Yeah, absolutely. So, same type of thing that 67% of consultants say that client acquisition is their biggest challenge.
Over and over and over again. Their biggest challenge is, and it's just being able to get clients.
Yeah. Doug wanted to know, are these slides available? Can't take notes fast enough. It is broadcast, simulcast over at YouTube. So you could always go kind of skim it there. Especially if you're out there talking to other affiliates, potential affiliates, want to use this. I swear, guys, literally, like, affiliates wasn't in my notes at all. This isn't a call to try to get you to go get affiliates, although
we should do
I
run
think
throughs ahead of
that's,
time. And that
yeah,
way we know what we're going to say.
exactly. So, Kendra, they are seeing a pattern here, though.
Yeah.
And that is that everyone's being told to do the same thing. And, this kind of cracks me up that it's, I think if you're in this industry and you've been on a call, likely you've been told that you're the problem. If you're in financial services, 2.5 million of them, every one of you, they're the problem. They'll tell you over again, hey, everyone else is successful. Everyone else is having an easy time getting clients. No one else is having these struggles. It's just you. You're the problem. And I hear the solution peddled up and down with so many different marketing platforms
just
that are out
post
there.
more. Just keep asking. You're asking in the wrong way. Maybe next month. Keep following up. You're
Yeah.
just not working hard enough.
Yeah.
I mean, how frustrating to hear that when I know personally from being with you guys as you go through these journeys with these industries, how hard you are working.
Yeah.
So to hear that
I know,
push
because
back
we
at
see
you,
your posts for our services on
Mhm.
LinkedIn. We see our ads, so we know you're posting. We know that many of you are out there, and some of you have a lot of success with posting and, are driving traffic that way. Others have
Don't.
virtually no success. What I can tell you, though, in talking to affiliates over and over again, it's that it really depends on the service. And we're going to get to that here in a minute, I guess.
there
But
is
before
a
I jump to
solution
that,
again.
So
we're getting there.
no matter what, whether you're financial services, whatever the case is, there's really a few aspects, a few tools that you have at your disposal. Kendra, no matter what, we rely on, we got to be able to call people. If we can't get a hold of people, you can't run into, you can't communicate with them that you have something to offer.
Right.
If we can't get people to open emails, then you can't communicate and offer. You can't send a contract. You can't request a document. There's so many things that are, needed for that. You got to be able to meet with people, obviously, right?
People willing to meet with you.
Yeah. And probably the biggest is that you've got to have people that have disposable income that can spend it, and people that are willing to spend money on the thing that you're offering. Okay. Now, here's the lie that I'm seeing quite a bit. The lie is coming from the financial service industry, from the real estate industry, from all these different industries, saying the problem is you. The problem is you're not working hard enough. The problem is you're not, on LinkedIn good enough. I mean, how many people have paid someone to tune up their LinkedIn profile or something like that? Or better yet, how many people have had that investment come back and pay for itself? And the answer is probably not many. And so you get told, oh, you're not doing it. And finally, when you show and you say, hey, I'm doing these things, then the industry comes back and says, well, the problem is that business owners are too busy. They're not answering their phone. And they say, the problem is that the average business owner gets this many emails and they're not hearing you. And the problem is, I've heard this one, is that, oh, everyone's burned out on meetings because of COVID. Or I think the biggest lie of all is your clients don't have money. So let's touch on these a little bit. So Kendra, for starters, are people still taking phone calls?
I'm the stat queen today.
You are the stat queen.
People are saying that over 88% of their entire work week, so the time they spend working, over 88% of it is involved in communicating on the phone with people, meetings, email, chat, all of the above.
The way I know this is when I'm talking to a client, when I'm in a meeting, the beginning of the meeting usually starts with, sorry, I'm 2 minutes late. I just got off the phone with.
I have a hard stop at.
Because I got to
meeting.
call this, that kind of thing. So, and they're, these are people very often that I know or clients I've worked with for a long time. They're not trying to get rid of me. Okay. So I'm telling you, business owners are on the phone. Kendra, with email.
Right,
now, I want to
out of
pause
that.
here for a second. You're the email queen. I don't know if people know this. She runs, her and her team, all of our email funnels. For every campaign, how many emails we send, how many open rates we get, what kind of things convert. And I'm going to just ask you plainly before you get into any stats or anything like that. Is email dead?
Absolutely not.
How much business, not a dollar amount, just you're seeing a lot of business come through via email, often to clients that have never spoken to a single human. I'm going to share a stat with you before you go into stats. So this one's from our accounting department. 76% of all the cost segs from last year, 2024, came in without talking to a single human. They went from email or ad directly into our email funnels that Kendra and her team run. It went right into purchase without ever talking to a human. In other words, their first verbal conversation, other than with you,
right,
the partner. I don't mean that, because we don't know how you got them to your page, but 76% of all the cost segs never spoke with a human in our organization. No team leader, no anything like that. And I'm not devaluing the discovery call process. It's a huge thing that's available. What I'm telling you, I guess, Kendra, I got off track, but the point is that email is very much alive and well.
It's a integral part or spoke on your wheel. And without that spoke, your wheel's broken. And so 70% of them come, but if sometimes they also need a discovery call. Sometimes we also need to connect them here, there, or there, whatever. Yeah. But the initial way we grabbed their attention was finally via an email. And on average, people are saying that they spend about 28% of their work week. So almost a third of their entire work time they're spending in email. That is significant.
Yeah.
And whether or not our messaging is right or whatever, they are in their email. So we just need to do it the right way.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to meetings, I hear this one, and that's that. Oh, since COVID, people are just meetinged out. They're not doing meetings anymore.
They might be meetinged out, but they're still doing meetings. Yes. Owners and executives spend about 23 hours a week. So if if they're working standard 40, that's over half of their week in meetings. And the average for managers is even higher.
Yeah.
So think about that. Like half their time is spent in meetings. They're meeting, guys. They're just not meeting with us.
Biggest lie of all is that companies don't have money anymore.
Yep.
And, Kendra, talk about that, because we hear this one, just with the recession, everyone's tightening
I'm so sick of hearing this. They have money.
It's I don't care what you're hearing. It's an absolute statistical lie that clients don't have money, aren't spending money.
So
Let's talk about that.
90% of businesses are spending more than they were a few years ago.
Pause there. 90% of businesses are spending more money than they were
3 years ago.
They didn't cut back.
No.
They're spending more capital out there into your market than they were 3 years ago.
Most businesses reported a 30% increase over 3 years ago.
Now you might say, oh, wait a minute, that's because the cost of a gallon of milk has went up, but they're buying less items. Also not true. The average company had 12 providers that they paid on a monthly basis. Okay, I don't mean employees and things like that. I mean subscriptions, vendors, things like that. The average had 12 in 2016. The average company has over 100 this year. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, they're spending more dollars with more people statistically. If you're not experiencing that, then it's you. It's your product line. It's your industry. It's the industries that we're a part of. And that's the part that I want to focus in and talk about a little bit right now, that I don't really think you're what's broken. I think you going out there, I talk to people all the time, and I hear about your approach. I hear about your relationships in the community. I hear about your long-standing book of business in the community. I hear about the loyalty in your clients. And I'm going to suggest to you that it's not you that's broken. And honestly, I don't even like this, Kendra. I don't think it's their system that's broken. I think that in many cases, it's the product offering that's broken. And we've talked about this a lot before. And I'm going to say this from go ahead, Kendra.
I want that to sink in for a minute, because we're coming up on the solution.
Yeah.
So if you need a hard line, we've talked about all of the issues you're dealing with in your different industries. When are we going to get to the solution? Let this sentence that you see on your screen sink in. It's not you that's broken. Perhaps it's your product or your offering.
Yeah.
This is going to lead us to what we were talking about as the solution.
So, I want you to listen. We've been hearing the same stories from partners, from affiliates, from vendors, from everybody for the last 23 years. And so we hear this a lot. We understand this a lot. Heather, you got an opportunity to do an interview.
Yeah.
I want you to play that interview now, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about that. It's only 2 or 3 minutes long. So let's go ahead and take a look at that now.
Hey, I'm Derek. I have been in consulting for about 8 years. To be real, guys, getting new clients had become a grind. I felt like every time I was doing a proposal, it was literally just a coin toss. And then I met with a friend of mine who showed me something he was doing with cost segregation. thought it would be a good fit for me. And I said, why not? Let's take a look at it. When I saw the numbers, I ran through some of my existing client base. I felt like it made sense right away. It's not like you're adding or, adding new services or doing something completely different. I wasn't pitching a new service. I was going to be offering value to business owners I was already talking to. And that was a different concept than anything I had ever been presented with before. I had one client who owned a light manufacturing company, and he was my first one that we actually ran through with cost segregation. And he got over $250,000 in benefit. And that win led to 2 more introductions, same industry, which is kind of just how it happens. These are new clients, not even my existing clients. And all of a sudden, I wasn't chasing business. It was coming to me, and I liked the way that felt. So I have been leading with my property owner clients with cost segregation and tax incentives for the past 8 months now. And I feel like it's really benefiting them and me. I'm happy with where I'm at with the commissions. And, that's my story. I feel like it's really given me a benefit. I'm still a consultant, but now I'm a consultant who's making a difference.
That's awesome. Heather told me about Derek's interview, and I was like, you got him to like do that on video, right? She's like, yeah. It's like, good, because we need to share that. And hopefully you guys saw what the solution was in there. What he tied back together is that he brought cost segregation to the fore with his clients. And that became the way that he led himself to a solution for his client base, the problems he was facing.
Yeah, you've got to change what you're offering, and what you're able to do. Because one of the comments I saw come in during that was from Brian. If you're an insurance broker, you must offer more than product, tax credits, premium finance, premier employee benefit programs to business owners. And, one of the things we've talked about this before, and I want you to look at this through 2 lenses. One of which, Kendra, is, as an insurance broker yourself, if that's what you are, or real estate or whatever the case is. And the other, like I keep mentioning, the A word, affiliate, all the people in your community, they're going through the exact same struggle. Listen, let me provide a solution for you. If you're already out there and you're talking to all your contacts and you're not flooded with cost seg, then let us help you with that. And let us help you get in front of the right people and get cost seg out into them. But the second thing is, if you feel you've tapped out a lot of your base and things like that, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of other professionals in your area that you should have as affiliates. Mm-hmm. And let them be out there to the local car dealership, to the local hotel, the local restaurant, local doctor's offices, all these other things. Because cost seg in particular, as well as the R&D tax credit, as well as the tax management system, all the other platforms, Kendra, this is the fix. It's not just the fix for what we've talked about. It's the fix for their businesses as well. Because all of a sudden, remember what I talked about companies are spending money. They are taking on new vendors. They do have subscriptions. They are out there doing business. They're just looking for, remember what I talked about getting gobbled up from both sides? That's the partnership I'm talking about, that you've got to get your clients into this platform. Now, before we show how to do this, Kendra, right now we're in this unique time period. Mm-hmm. Some people, if you're new, you might be confused by this. It is tax season right now, right this moment. If you didn't know that, we're in the prime of tax season right now.
It's third quarter, and third quarter has always traditionally been our highest performing season. And that's because although April 15th is tax day, most of our client base and most businesses in general tend to extend. And the extended deadline this year is October 15th, which is a little later than normal, which gives us more time for this tax season. But there's one thing that most business owners aren't realizing: filing their taxes later, it doesn't mean that they've claimed every dollar that they've owed. It does put us in a position right now where they are more open-minded to what we have to offer. Right now, one conversation could be all that's needed to move a client from just somebody you've spoken to or emailed in the past to a paying client.
Yeah. And, like you mentioned, right now, this is kind of that window that people are in. Where you don't really have to turn on the big, thick sales pitch. One of the things that
you just simply have to be out there reaching back out to them, right?
Yeah. So GMG puts money back in companies' pockets. They need money, and that is exactly what we do. So, this becomes a timely message because right now, Kendra, people either have to pay money into the IRS or they can get money back.
Yeah. And this is where you come in. A simple question saying, hey, before you do your final return, like, did you check out this, and this?
Yeah.
Like, it's our simple intro. You've seen it all over. It actually does get you in and get that communication re-engaged, though.
Yeah. Now, again, we're going to kind of tie this in. We're going to show you some qualifiers here in a little bit. We're going to give you some new tool sets for it. But at the end of the day, what you're doing is you're getting people to a position where you can get them money. And everybody knows that's where you get money as well. Now, you might be looking and saying, hey, wait a minute, we're already coming up on mid-September. That's okay. We'll be busy all the way through end of December. Yeah. And then it gets slow for about a week. And then second tax season comes into play. Or this is tech, you know what I mean?
So I want you guys to understand, just because we're about a month out doesn't mean that you don't have the time or the opportunity. You have the perfect time and the perfect opportunity, even if it scales past October 15th. You need to be using that as a prime example to get your clients to say, yes, I do need to engage with you right now, because there is this deadline. It's not perceived, it's an actual deadline. If they move past it, that's fine. We can still work with them. They can still get the benefit, but utilize that time frame right now as this, very strategic, very short period of time. We need to make sure that you're getting everything that you want.
And year after year, between now and the end of the year is when we pay out the most commissions. Okay. So that's the easiest way to see it, the easiest way to track. Now, before we show you some of this new tool set that all of you walk out of here with today, it's not just part of a marketing program or anything like that. Let's talk about how this happens. Okay. Obviously, you've got potential clients that are out there, or affiliates do that you want to bring in.
Either way, doesn't matter.
If you say, well, I don't have any contacts. Okay, great. Then go add 20 affiliates to your team and let them go do this process. We will train them personally how to do this and how to go out there and start earning you overrides. But either way, you've got companies. Kendra, you want to email them. You want to have meetings with them. You want to call them. You want to post on social. You want to move them to becoming a paying client. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, the way that we do that is through a few different things, but the main way is your calculator. Now, Kendra, some people have heard me say before that the best way of doing this is get them to your site. That's a true statement. Other times we've talked about the best way to do this is to get them on a phone call. Listen, I'm not devaluing the discovery call. We've spent several months, I think April, May, and June, all showing highlights from our team leaders and live interviews or pre-recorded interviews where we showed what they do on a discovery call. I'm not devaluing that one bit. What I am telling you is there's this magic that happens when you get someone to your calculator page. Internally, I call it the curiosity funnel, because once you get them to this page, and for those of you who don't know, let me show you a brief overview of what's going to happen. Okay, they're going to land on this page. We're going to run a calculation of what they qualify, show them what programs they qualify for. They're going to have someone on their staff upload a few documents, very easy to do. And then we're going to go search hundreds of local, state, and federal programs. All of that happens in the background of your website. But Kendra, here's the one kicker. We convert 0% of the deals that don't get to your website. I'm not just trying to be an ass or be sarcastic.
The ones that do get there, though, have a 37% conversion rate. And you already have this website at your disposal. It's your gmg.me page. Everybody on this call has it.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to find it, reach out to support. They'll get you set up. You already have this tool at your disposal, and it has a 37% conversion rate.
Now, once they get on that page, their curiosity is going to spike, because it's kind of, for those of you who've never seen it before, it's kind of magical. Mm-hmm. It just builds one slider after another. Every question you answer, I get more and more excited. It's like, how many employees do you have? And the bar grows a little. And it's like, what industry are you in? Well, I own a hotel. Oh, there's money for hotels. Oh, well, what did you do? How many employees do you have? What states do you operate in? They start checking stuff. And Kendra, every time they check something, that bar gets farther and farther along, and that excitement builds up. Now, let's say that right then, They get to that section, we show them all the programs, and they say, never mind, I'm out. And they click exit.
We don't let that happen.
Okay. First of all, there's one of two paths. Either they're going to follow this through and they're going to start uploading documents and boom, you're in. You just earned commission. Okay.
And if not,
that's one way. And if not, they're going to enter this curiosity funnel, and that's okay. Because either way, 37.5% closing rate, because either we're going to take them through and we're going to close them right then, or we're going to take them into this funnel where Kendra talk about that process a little bit.
We have an engagement process where we keep them engaged at an appropriate level, answering questions, sending them things that would be of interest to them, depending on their industry, depending on how they engaged with us previously, continuing to move them along on your behalf. And we end up, like Ryan said, the start to finish 37%. That is helping with that email engagement. Nobody has rates like that.
Yeah. Now, to get them to your page, and we're going to give you some scripts, some tools and things like that, but you got to understand what it is that you're offering. And I got to say, no matter what you do, you're not selling insurance today. You're not selling real estate. You're not anything. Next time somebody asks what you do, I think the thing you say, and we're going to show you scripts here in a minute, but you've heard me say this before on these calls, is I work with a group that we have $2.3 trillion available, and my job is to get it out there into the hands of small and medium-sized, I say SMBs, into small and mid-sized businesses. This will create intrigue. This will begin the dialogue. And from there, they're going to say, what do you mean? What kind of programs? And this is where you can get out your phone. This is where you can email them a link, whatever the case is. You get them in this curiosity funnel where they start seeing and they start clicking, and Kendra is kind of addictive. There's a little bit of dopamine every time that bar goes up. And even if there's some skepticism there, there's still this part of them that's saying, I could use $670,000. I could use $230,000. And so you've got to understand first and foremost what it is that you do. You have access to billions of dollars. It's actually 2.3 trillion, but you have access to billions of dollars, and you get paid a portion every time you put money in someone's hands. Now, in a minute, I'm going to show you a blueprint. We're going to take some Q&A. But before I do, Kendra, you and the marketing team put together a commission bonus. Mm-hmm. So I like this. Just to be clear, this isn't like 10% commission bonus, 10% bonus of your commission. This is 10% more of the fee.
Right. So take what your normal rate is, your commission rate, take that aside. You get an additional 10% on top of what you'd normally
get. Not 10% of your commission, 10% of the net fee.
The net fee.
There's a couple of criteria here that I want to touch base on. They're pretty easy and straight to the point. The lead has to either already be in the system. So you say, what about the person that I entered 2 years ago?
It's fine. They're in the system. As long as they're in the system by October 15th, they qualify for it.
And the second qualifier is that they must move into production between now, today is September 8th, 2025, and December 31st, 2025. So that's it.
We kept it as loose and as long as possible to get you guys the biggest benefit. This is a huge boost in commission. 10% is a really big stack. So just imagine between now and the end of the year, you could be making, how much more? Start doing the math, you guys. How much more could you be making on every single cost seg deal you close between now and the end of the year?
Heather, I want to take people over to the blueprint page. So on the very page that you're likely watching on right now, in fact, let me just do this. Sorry. So on the page that you're likely watching on right now, don't click off, but right here is where you are. You're watching us. If you scroll down, don't do it yet. There's a link. It says your blueprint. When you click on that, that's going to take you to your blueprint page. And Kendra, we've got a few things here. The first one is, for some of you, you might be wondering, okay, who are good qualifiers?
So don't assume this is the same as it was the last couple of months. We focused on some different things. These are all different. The outline, the structure of the page may look similar, but the information is different. So take a few minutes to get familiar with it.
Listen, shout out in the comments if you would like to earn commission sometime in the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and get paid upfront very quickly. Thousands and thousands of dollars. Okay. If that's you, listen to what I'm about to say, plus give a quick shout in there. So first of all, commercial property owners, this category right here, I actually can't highlight just that category, so it's in columns, but this first one right here, commercial property owners, nothing, no service I've ever encountered for pays commission quicker than this category right here. Okay. Hotels, car dealerships, grocery stores, medical and dental offices, senior living, fast food, casual dining, gas stations, office buildings, warehouse, fitness centers, gyms, entertainment complexes, industrial manufacturing, people that own commercial property, there's nothing that will pay you more. Now, let's say you look at this and you say, okay, well, I've already reached out to everybody in my network. That's one of those things. Let me ask you a
Doubt
question.
it, but
In your area, okay, in your area, who do you know that knows these people? Okay. Now you could either just go straight partner with them and say, hey, I'll tell you what, you kind of introduced me and I'll go in and do the work, or just bring them in as an affiliate. If you don't know how to do that, reach out to support. They'll help you with that process. But either way, listen, even if you're like, I don't know any car dealerships, I bet you know someone that knows a car dealership. And so you need to focus on that. Now, that was for people that want a commission very quickly. Listen, why is cost seg quick? Because cost seg is the only instant benefit there is. You guys remember ERC? ERC, you'd fill out some paperwork and 60 to 90 days later, you might get a benefit. Okay. With cost seg, it's instantaneous. I have whole trainings on that. I'm not going to cover it right now, but let me show you how quick cost seg is. I decided to do cost seg. I click a button. I've received my benefit. It's that quick. Okay. And I've explained that in numerous trainings. I'm not making it up. I've been saying that for over 20 years. I can back it up and clients experience it. Cost seg benefit is instantaneous. And therefore the commission process on this is very, very quick on how quickly you earn. Now, let me ask somebody else who wants lifetime clients. Okay. Now, technically you might say, well, my insurance client's a lifetime client. Well, they are, as long as they continue to buy your product from you and not leave. The nice thing about WOTC, the R&D tax credit, all the Section 41 credits, all the HUD zone credits and everything like that, once you sign a client, it's not one and done. Okay. When you sign people in this, you're going to get both sides of the equation. Because Kendra, you're often going to earn some upfront commission in the first 30 to 60 days on a client.
Mhm.
But on top of that, you're going to earn lifetime residual for the life of that client.
with the
That'll
R&D
just
tax
come back
credit.
over and over again. You've
Mhm.
heard me share before. I have companies that I signed in probably like 06, 07 that embarrassingly I've never had another conversation with. And every first quarter, I just get paid on them. Okay. I could never, all this aside, we could shut the lights off and everything else and do none of this stuff. And as an advisor, just myself making the same commission rate that you do, I'd make six figures. I'd be a six-figure commissioned rep for the R&D tax credit alone on just accounts I signed between 07 and 2010. Okay. Let me punch in on that one more time because I want you to hear that. If I didn't own this company, if I didn't own other companies, if I had no other source of revenue, okay, if I was a partner, an affiliate, an advisor, the same as you, same commission rate as you, okay, which by the way, I pay myself. And for those of you, I've shared this before, I pay myself the same as what you make. When I sell a cost seg, I make the same as what you make. When I sell an R&D, I make the same as what you make. It's something I set up in 2004. I've never veered from it. I've never paid myself more. I pay myself what you make. That's no bullshit. Okay. The accounting department, they won't divulge confidential information, but they can tell you when they go in, it's one of my deals. They put it at the same rate that they put it at your deals. Bottom line. Here's what I want you to understand. If I didn't do anything else, I didn't own any other companies, I didn't do anything else, just the R&D accounts I sold between 2007 and let's say 2010, somewhere in that range, I'd make six figures just on that every single year without doing anything else. And Kendra, I'm not, I'm good at a lot of things. Honestly, I wouldn't say sales is one of them. Like, I'm not a salesperson. Like,
No.
I hate to say that.
I mean,
I'm not a very good account manager either. I mentioned I haven't talked to these people in
yeah,
years.
your forte isn't in follow-up and continuing the relationship.
Thank you.
But
that's a super polite way to say it.
The deals are there, and they've worked with us as an organization for all of those years for a reason.
Yeah.
And that's the same benefit you all get. And that's why they stay. That's why they're residual. That's why they're lifetime. They're constantly getting that money. Who's going to go away when they have, all of those things at their benefit?
Now, beyond that, if you're saying, hey, I've tapped those out, then this is where we get into professional relationships. Okay. Now, who are the best professional relationships that you could go talk to? I got to tell you the same thing. I brought in affiliates back in 2005, 2006, 2007. They're still with us today. I brought in affiliates that still do cost seg year after year after year. And it's no surprise to them. Neil, Jim, all of you that might be on the line right now, I make money every time you sell a cost seg. Like, it's just the way the affiliate program works. So even though I brought Neil in just to pick on him, if you're on, say hi, Neil. If you're on, I don't know if he's on or not. Neil, I don't even know how long ago. I mean, probably 15 years at this point that I brought Neil in as an affiliate. Neil still does cost seg all the time. He's out there in networking groups and things like that. Every time he sells a cost seg, I make money. Why? Because I'm on the same commission schedule you guys are on. That's how I've always had it. That's how I've always had it set up. I wanted to feel what it would be like to be one of our partners. And so that's how I pay myself. And so if you feel you've done those things, then go out there and bring in some partnerships. It could be through our official methodology of affiliate, or it could be more informal partnerships where you got a buddy and he's a real estate agent and you say, hey, you sell the real estate, I'll sell the tax credits. It doesn't matter to me. Like, I just want you to get the deal, whatever the case is. Kendra, from there, so now I've got like some vibe, we know who we're trying to talk to. From there, we want to raise awareness.
Yep.
And we're going to do that through a few methods. Kendra, you've got some great marketing templates here.
They're just cut and paste, guys. The box flips when you're on it. You can highlight the whole thing all the way down and paste it into your email browser, the same as you always have. We just put a little fancy movement in there for you to make it a little funner.
It will have
your information
there. This one is mine, but it'll have your driving to your pages and things like that. So from there,
obviously we've got the beautiful HTML emails that are a part of the premium option. If you're in premium, you already have these at your disposal. This is the first thing I've shown today that costs any money. We're not here to sell you a premium marketing package, but we do have additional resources for those that are in premium marketing. Yeah. So those are there, as well as, Kendra, there's a bunch more HTML templates. You can go over to the page and take a look at them.
If you want to know, what should I say when I sit down to a meeting?
There's a short video there that really helps. It's not long at all, but it's when we put it over here because we had a request. So much support was getting a request for this on the daily. So we actually put it right here on your blueprint page. So it's easy for you to find.
Here's some verbal scripts, some SMS scripts, some meet in person scripts that you can find.
Yep. Again, as the box opens, just scroll. It gives you the whole script there. And here's some additional emails for follow-up.
More email templates that are included. And then you've got some social posts. Now I'm in my second thing, Kendra, that may or may not have some
These
premium.
ones are actually open to everybody. I have an entire, I call it a box set that's been launched for premium. It'll go out next week. So if you are in premium, go over to your page and you'll see we actually have a whole new set of social ads launching next week. Yeah. Like 20 some.
And then, of course, you've got some Q&A stuff that's there that you can take a look at. So all of that is on your blueprint. Heather, you can take me back to slides if you would. I do want to take some Q&A as we're kind of going. I haven't, let me take a look there. That one I already covered. Okay, I want to talk about this one for a second. So
bonus time.
Yeah. So you've got the commission bonus that we've just talked about. Listen, if you want quick, easy, quick turning commissions, cost seg is where it's at. If you want to know what cost seg is, reach out to support or put in the comments right now. We'll email you a video on cost seg. It's about 15 minutes or so. Tells you what cost seg is, who qualifies, how to get it. Before I go into Q&A, the most important thing I want to impress on you is actually something that we said a few minutes ago. And Kendra, that is that you've got to get people to your page. This is where it all begins. And it all begins with you having some conversation. But once you get someone to your page, to your .me page, this is what's going to have the high conversion rate of getting people in. So one of the things, go
can
ahead.
I add, if for some reason maybe you're re-engaging after a long time doing something else, or you have some questions, if you have any question on where to find your gmg.me page, how to use your gmg.me page, reach out to support, get a scheduled call with them. 10, 15 minutes is all it takes. They will walk you through it. They'll help you bookmark it. They'll show you the email templates and the, phone scripts that you need to use to follow up on them and everything. So if you're at all unsure, do not sit in that, confusion. Reach out to support so that you can also be reaping the same benefits as everybody else this season.
So let's talk about this. Is there an upfront cost to TMS system? Just for anybody that doesn't know, TMS is tax management system. This, just to define for everyone, is like QuickBooks for tax credits. The cost on this is generally for most businesses $9 per month. The reason we charge a monthly fee is a couple of things. One, it costs us a lot of money to maintain it, just like QuickBooks or anything else. We offset some of that cost through a user fee. The other reason is that when we started charging in 2017, our conversion rate went way up. We were at the time, I don't want to say what we were at. We're very low compared to once we started charging a fee. But let me be really clear on something. People do R&D studies all the time that don't have TMS. People do cost seg all the time that don't do TMS. When someone goes through this calculation process that I just showed, we're going to let them walk through, and this last screen you see, this one right here actually, where we show them, hey, there is all the programs you qualify for. When they click next, we're going to give them some options. One option that we're going to give them is book a call with your team leader and talk to someone. Another option we're going to give them is to explore one of the tax credits and just activate it and get going with it. Another option we're going to give them is to set up the tax management system and get going. Kendra, it's like some people choose the path that's right for them.
Sometimes they just want to get in and get cost seg done and over with, and they don't want to be distracted by anything else. And that is just fine. We will do that. And then we have this wonderful person on staff, and she's going to reach out to them throughout that process. And then what she does is she follows back up with them and gets them engaged with TMS once the cost segregation study is done. And they're happy because they've just gotten this huge benefit. So we understand that each client is going to take the path that works best for them. We don't block that in any way. We let them move forward in however they want. We're not going to refuse them to move forward. Our ultimate goal is to keep them in TMS so that we can continue to get benefits for them. So we are going to kind of come back around on that if they don't automatically get in with it.
You've said it well, but I want to say, in a slightly different way. Some people come in and they just get into TMS and that's the system on the far right-hand side of the screen there. Because it's what makes sense to them. They're like, they can grapple that. So for some people, they look at it and they're like, I don't get this cost segregation thing, but that I understand. Okay, that's like QuickBooks. I'll get set up in that. Then what happens is they start using it, and then we say, hey, we identified a program, and here you go, and they buy cost seg. Okay, so some people go that route. Other people just say, oh, cost seg. I Googled it, and it looks like, or here's actually how it's going in today's society. We show them this. They've never heard of these programs, and they say, hey, ChatGPT, what's cost seg?
Cost segregation?
And then ChatGPT. In fact, I'm just going to do this right now.
Oh, no.
What's cost segregation?
Cost segregation is basically a tax strategy that helps people who own commercial or rental real estate speed up their depreciation deductions. So instead of depreciating the entire building over, say, 27.5 or 39 years, you break it down into components that might have shorter depreciation schedules. That means you can write off certain parts of the property faster.
Okay, how come I've never heard of this before? I own a hotel and 2 restaurants and a car dealership, and how come I've never heard of this?
Yeah, it's one of those things that's not always front and center unless you've got a tax advisor who's really into it. Cost segregation tends to fly under the radar because it's a bit niche and not every CPA brings it up unless
Is
they
it something that I should do? I mean, I own several hotels.
Absolutely. It'd be a pretty big benefit.
Okay.
And
So-
that was not pre-planned,
No,
you guys.
not at all. Listen, that's how the world goes now. Okay, that was my fact check. People used to like talk to an attorney. That's my fact check now. It's Chat GPT. So what happens is I go here and I see these programs, and then I ask Chat GPT, should I do that? Chat GPT says, yeah, go for it, bro. And then they're like, okay, I'll do it. Okay, that's just I'm sorry, it's the way it works now. So what you've got to do is you've got to get people to your page. I love this, Sam, right here. Should I start knocking on doors again? Absolutely. Like I'm not even just telling you that. Like you absolutely should get out there. If you want to make quick, easy, quick turnaround commissions, cost seg is where it's at. There's no two ways about it. You go out there, you find people that are likely to own commercial property. Who owns them? Hotels, restaurants, car dealerships, funeral homes, office buildings, medical offices, all these different categories. And you just reach out to them. And what do you say? You say, hey, I work with a group and we help local hotels find tax benefits. I'd like to take a look with you, see what you might qualify for. We've got a quick and easy calculator that'll help you find hundreds of local, state, and federal tax credits. Where once before there might have been doubt, after this, they're going to do what we all do. They're going to ask ChatGPT. They're going to ask Gemini. And ChatGPT is going to say, yes, you should do this. That's the best part.
I want to point something out too. The fact that Sam's asking, should I get out, like start knocking on doors? In my mind, that means, should I get out there and physically be going to these locations and these potential clients? I'm going to tell you what, that is going to make you stand out because it's very rare right now that anyone is doing that.
Yeah.
And sometimes when we've moved past something in our structure as a community or, in the United States, we get a little nostalgic for things like that. So imagine that you had an old relationship with somebody at a business and you stop by to say hi to them and tell them about something that could be of benefit to them. They don't have to read another email. They don't have to dig through another text. They don't have to. You're there as a quick, hey, I just wanted to check in on you, see how you're doing, see how your business is doing. By the way, I want to share something with you.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how much different you're going to seem than every other person that's been trying to get a hold of them that week?
So another one that I want to touch on is what did the new tax bill do? So there's a couple of things. I'm going to do it in summary and then kind of talk through some of the specifics. So one of the big things it did is it kept some things that would have otherwise expired from expiring. More than anything, what I want you to understand is that it made cost seg better. So first of all, 100% bonus depreciation was not only restored, but it was made
Yay!
permanent.
That's huge, guys. I don't know if you guys realize that, but that's a big deal.
Let me say this in short. When you sell a cost seg, we now get more benefit for the same size building that we would have before, which since the way we charge means the long and short is you make higher commissions than you would have 6 months ago. There's some other specifics that had to do with how you can deduct and what your deduction rate is, especially if you're going to sell a building quickly. But the important thing is almost in every area,
it made it better. Like the
it made it
Section
better.
179 limits were increased, which makes it better.
Yep.
The timing and requirements were changed. That makes it better.
Good question here. How small, I'm sorry, every time I click, one is shifting. So how small can a business be to make it worthwhile to both them and us? This is such a good question. I love this. Tom, I'm going to answer twice. The first one is any business that hires one or more people per year or has a handful of employees would benefit from the system. But there's another side to it, and that is who's going to be the largest bang for your buck. Heather, can you flip back to Blueprint for a moment? I want to talk about these categories. For commercial property, your real sweet spot, there we go. Your real sweet spot for commercial property is going to be anything like 1 million to 20 million. And if I wanted to narrow it even more, those $2, $3, $4 million properties, like they're largely underserved by any other market. They close very quickly, very little competition, and you're gonna make a decent little commission on it. Somebody owns multi-property, even better, but it may take longer to close it. Like if they own 20, 30 car dealerships, it's going to take you longer to close that. For me personally, I'm a little bit lazy, and I love the 3 to 5 location company. The owner's still just busy enough in their own business that they don't have time to spend a lot of time on the sales process. So I love people that own 1, 2, 3, 5 properties, things like that. For manufacturers, same thing. You might be looking at any manufacturer with 60, 70 employees or more, but a real sweet spot, Kendra, as you get into some of your 2, 3, 4, 500 employees or up to 1,000, they're really not served by anyone. Now, if you're like, oh, I got a really big company, Ryan said the sweet spot was here. No, listen, if you got a big company, they just might take, a little longer to close.
Yeah, anybody who's going to be a client is worth moving forward with or following up with, but sweet spot means a different thing. It doesn't mean don't go after somebody else.
Yes, I completely agree, Terry, that getting people to your page is, in fact, all the rage. I wanted to touch on this.
I'm going to use that.
I like that. Brian, is there a commission difference between premium and basic? No. Yes, there is. There are some commission bonuses we run. The commission bonus we showed today is not part of that. The main thing with premium that I'll rattle off. So there's a lot more social posts. There's HTML email templates. There's video-based explainer videos that are kind of coded directly to you. That's an expensive thing for us to provide. There's marketing masterclass, which is not just with Kendra and I, but it's with some of the marketing team where we can teach how to do Facebook ads, teach how to do advanced emailing tactics, things like that. Landing pages are really where the difference is, though. You've got industry-based landing pages. You've got an advanced ADHC underpayment page available to you.
Can I give a little sneak?
Yes, please do.
Launching all new industry pages in the next couple of weeks, guys.
Yep.
Completely redone. They look nothing like the existing ones. They're beautiful.
Completely revamped. But we have industry-based landing pages like for restaurants, hotels, things like that.
Another thing that premium, and I don't call this, like this isn't listed anywhere as something that you get with premium, but when my marketing team wants to test something, we usually single out a couple people in premium who are doing pretty big volumes and stuff like that. And we give you guys tools that are kind of secret and on the download to use and give us feedback on before we kind of roll it out to everybody else.
Listen, this was a question that was asked in here. I'm not trying to sell you premium. Premium's main benefit is more landing pages, more email templates, video explainer videos, things. It's premium marketing assets. It costs $99 a month, cancel anytime. The reason it costs money is because it costs us a lot. We have dedicated staff members that all they do is produce this content. It doesn't change the funnel experience at all. So once you get someone, it changes how you might get people to the funnel, not what happens once they get in the funnel. So Heather, you can drop this off the screen. Did you see another question? Let me just keep going.
You can keep going.
Do we offer Section 179D and get paid on it? 179D, yes. It's a highly competitive market, so it's not something we lead with. It's more something that while we're working with a client, we may offer. Terry, I'm not reading these in advance, so I hope they don't have swear words or anything like that. So, how do affiliates differ from those we add to our teams as reps? They don't. So the word advisor, partner, agent, and affiliate
all the same thing.
They're all synonymous with each other. It's all the same platform. We did on our client-facing websites use the word affiliate because it's more user.
It's what people understand as far as the structure of
when you say become an advisor, like unless you're in the financial services realm, you don't necessarily know what that means. But if you see become an affiliate, so what we've seen since we made that change is a lot more people willing to say, I want to become an affiliate because they're already affiliates for other
organizations. Yeah.
When you say become an advisor, there could be some notion that you're like it's some licensing or something like that. Is the reduced annual rate for TMS? No, we just keep it simple. It's just $9 a month. There are some higher tiers, by the way, but we just yeah, we just keep it simple and don't want the client to have to make too many decisions. It's a good idea, and plenty of people do it. It's just not something. If somebody really wanted that, you could reach out. They could sign up and then reach out, and we could take a look and make something happen. At the end of the day, we just want them in the system and using it, because that's what generates the revenue. What we found is when we used to give it away for free, which was for like 15 years, by the way, our people would sign up for it, but they wouldn't go in and upload their documents. When people are paying $9 a month for it, it's hitting their card every month. It's kind of that like, I should use it.
The perceived value is low when something's free.
Yeah.
When there's some type of barrier entry point, I guess I should say, there's a better perceived value to
so
it.
our document upload rate is much higher. We did a lot of testing during the ERC days of free versus through TMS. And the clients who filled out a form for free only, I don't have the stats in front of me, but a much lower portion of them would actually upload their payroll documents than the ones that had went through the effort of paying $9.
Drop-off rate and looky-loos are very high when the word free is attached to it.
Yeah. Sam, in cold calling, is it better to go after a specific business type or focus on particular? Well, you use the word cold, but my first thing I would say is the people that you have any level of connection to. So even if it's cold, I'm always looking for what I call third-party credibility. So I got a buddy that's a realtor. He's also an affiliate, and but he gets busy in his own business. So like a lot of times I'll work stuff. So I'll say, hey, who owns, I don't want to name the restaurant, but who's the new owner of such restaurant? I heard it changed hands. And then he'll say, oh, that's Mike so-and-so. And he, oh, do you have his number? And he gives it to me. And then I call Mike, and this is what I say. I say, hey, Mike, I'm buddies with, John. I don't want to say John's last name, but he's a real guy. He's my realtor. And I say, hey, I'm buddies with John, and he told me that you just picked up XYZ restaurant, that you're going to be the owner. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Hey, John thought we should connect because, what I do is I work with the local restaurants in the area. I go find local, state and federal tax incentives for a building like yours. Yeah, I might be able to get you 200, 300, 400 grand. I want to stop by some night this week or some day when it's, not too busy for you. And, I think about 5 minutes, I'll be able to show you what I can do and take a look. So Sam, that's a cold call. But what I used is I would rather call someone that I have any level of like, I can reference someone else than,
It gives you
otherwise.
credibility.
Another one is if you've sold any deals, like let's say you sold a car dealership deal or for whatever service, that could be insurance, that could be whatever. Anytime you have a little insight into that also helps. That might be who you target. If all of those fail, Kendra, on the blueprint, I really miss, we used to have like best, good, gooder. Remember, and it was like the top industries. But what I can tell you is some of the top industries are manufacturing. Manufacturing is our top by far. If you can get in with manufacturing, go get in with that. They're going to qualify. So they're the number one category for R&D. They're in the top 4 for cost seg. They're in the top 2 for WOTC. Okay. Every program we're going to look at, they're the number 1 category for property tax abatement. Literally like everything we do on the tax side, at least, manufacturing is either number 1, number 2, or in the top 4, like I said. So manufacturing would be great. Beyond that, car dealerships, hotels. Kendra, I forgot we've been banking on apartment complexes. Mm-hmm. If you know people that own real estate investment, residential real estate investment, they own 2, 3, 4 properties.
Retail strip malls.
Let's talk retail strip malls, car dealerships, funeral homes, all of those. Do we have an affiliate? It's all automatic. So on your website, when someone clicks become an affiliate, they're going to put in some information. It's going to go build out all of your things. Heather, would you drop a link to Mark? Obviously, you can't drop it in the chat because it'll be Mark's link, but get Mark over to his page where he could do that. Do we still show ERC? Depends which ERC you mean. If you mean disaster ERC, which is a made-up term, that's what we call it internally. I'm sorry, I said that backwards. If you mean COVID ERC, which is a made-up term, that's the flavor of ERC you're probably talking about. We don't show that on our front-end website other than to reference it in marketing. Like if you took ERC, then you love cost seg, that kind of stuff. If you took ERC and you've already all spent that money, then you need to dive into Section 41 R&D credits. So we use it in front-end marketing. We don't actively try to sell COVID ERC, but disaster ERC, we still scan for in our front-end websites as well as our tax management system. So good question there.
You
If you
may
don't know
find
the
one
difference,
or two really old marketing pieces that might be buried on some of the pages that mention it, but it's just because we haven't gone in and dug and gotten rid of every
we do
one of
mention
them.
it. Like we're like, if you took PPP or because sometimes people say, hey, why are you still mentioning people? Because people remember it. It's a good feeling, It's
It had a huge impact on
it's like
people.
hot cocoa on a snowy day. People are like, yeah, I remember.
I remember when I got
PPP.
those thousands and thousands of dollars for free.
Yep, that was nice. Wait, you have that?
Wait, you can do that again?
Yes. So that's why we still mention it. So good one there. We get some good questions today. Kendra, you want to take that one, or I haven't read it?
It's just getting email addresses. I mean,
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I would rather not discuss that on an open forum. There's lots of tips and tricks.
Yeah. So good one there. Sorry, Sam, not dodging your question, but so when you hit the budget excuse.
This is a great point. Henry says you need to have some ROI stat for them. And if you're utilizing your gmg.me page and you're talking to them, just start asking them the questions and type in the numbers they give you. Immediately, you're going to see the ROI start gathering, like the image that we showed earlier on the page where we give them the summary. Like, just get them there and start asking them those questions, whether they're on the phone or you're in person. And as you're doing that, you're automatically showing them that ROI. So Henry has the perfect solution. That is what you need to do.
Can we still use the term strategic partner? Absolutely. Listen, you can use whatever term is going to get the job done. There's a few contexts you might be using in this. One, if you're saying, hey, we want to bring you in as a strategic partner, absolutely. You'll even notice some of the pages that you'll drive people to will say become an advisor. Other pages will say become an affiliate. Other times it'll say learn about our strategic partnership opportunity. So we recognize that people may use all different methodologies there, and that's fine. Not the one I meant to. I'll come to that one in a second. Brian, I already covered yours earlier. I don't know what name that is, but we'll call you RH. When a prospect books a meeting from the .me page, will the system open a client card? So,
when you say open, what do you mean?
I think it means will they
create
automatically
a client card?
create one?
Yes, it creates a client card for you. Open it like on your computer? No, but yes, it does actually generate and create a client card for you in the system.
You don't have to. I didn't get to use any of my sound effects today, so that was my sound effect. So
golf courses, he has the same. It's same guy. Any tips? Get out there on the golf course and start talking. And then as you're kind of talking to people, you're going to make connections that way. I know somebody who's been in our industry for years, and literally all of his business comes from golf course. And then what you do is you naturally move in, you're in the clubhouse, you're talking, whatever, you're making connections. You're going to get to know the owner or the, managing partner, whatever, whoever that person is. And they're going to be like, well, who you been talking to today? You're just chatting them up. Absolutely. And then you pitch them. Yeah. Have you guys done cost seg? A lot of my clients are, what I mean?
I think Henry's got the inspiring word here. The ask yourself or track, what effort does it take for you to get a 30-minute discovery meeting to pitch GMG? When you track this, you'll be able to refine your process. So
absolutely.
I like that. Thank you. I think that's it for Rod
says he can't golf worth a crap. You can drive the golf cart. Okay, Rod?
Yeah. So
we ran over a little bit today, but it's been very engaging, and we always we appreciate when you all take time out of your schedules to spend an hour and a half with us. We know how busy you are.
Before you let them go, I do want to show them something, but go ahead, keep going.
What I wanted to do is thank them for spending the time with us today. And hopefully what we were able to do today is show you that although many in your industries are suffering and dealing with these pain points, that you already have at your disposal some pretty amazing solutions to them.
Yeah.
And if you need any help getting pushed off, kind of maybe just reacclimating yourself, getting to know where your pages are and stuff like that, the support department is here to help you with that. So, excuse me, as I mentioned earlier, if there's anything holding you back in any way, shape, or form, I want you to reach out to support, get a 10, 15-minute call scheduled. They will make sure that you have everything that you need.
So I want to show you when you're going through this process, whether you're on the blueprint or you're in email templates, verbal scripts, landing pages, we've got a lot of tools that are here. And, we recognize one of the things we talk about is, man, it can get overwhelming. Where do I send someone? So one of the things I want to help you out with is when we're creating, say, email templates, the tone of this email the marketing team's already decided what page they might want to send them to. So you don't have to make that decision. All you have to do is cut and paste. And so they may send them to your main landing page. They may send them to a blog article. Kendra, when you're doing marketing funnels via email, you're not sending people to the same page over and over again. And the toolbox does the same thing. What I want you to understand is whether you're talking to them, whether you're using an SMS script, whether you're using one of the email templates, whether you're driving them to an industry landing page, that's like top of funnel. Okay. Now, the next thing that's going to happen, no matter what page we send them to, is ultimately we're going to get them here. This is called the calculator. Now, it lives a few different places. It looks different in some, but ultimately it's the same experience. So what you're going to do is you're going to call, you're going to text, you're going to post, you're going to email, you're going to do this live in person, whatever the case is. But one way or another, you're going to get them to a page that, whether it's a blog article, an industry page, a video, all of these different assets, Kendra, they all funnel to this one place right here.
They do.
And before I go through this, some people might say, why not just have the calculator? Well,
go ahead.
You can do that, but you got to understand sometimes you might have to warm up through a different avenue.
You have to fish with different bait.
Yes, that's a really good way to say it. So if you're in premium and you have a car dealership, what better way to send them than to send them to the car dealership page or to the manufacturer where they see images of other car dealerships or other manufacturers.
Or statistics that mean something to them and their industry. It's all about what's going to hit a nerve for them at any given moment. And that's why you have multiple options, because we understand that one direction, one option isn't going to work for all of the client base.
But this right here, this is the magic I want to leave you with. This is where someone says, I'm a manufacturer. I have 100 employees. I hire 25 people a year. Oh, this is what I was talking about.
See that, guys? That's how it works.
My payroll.
You haven't been in here recently to see.
4.3 million. Ooh, look at that number climb. Do I own property? You bet I do. I own 2 of them.
Oh, there
and
you
as
go.
we go through here, same thing. I'm going to go through and say, okay, I'm a manufacturer. And 2017.
If you run tests, put demo or test in the name.
Oh, geez, please do. Then I have a manufacturing company. That's the other location, and that's 2019. And I paid $4.6 million for that. Whatever the case is, watch this number. Okay, $253,000 that we've went through, and I do business in these areas. Look at that. I'm over 700 grand. Okay, why do you think this funnel converts? Well, because there's one thing to do. 700 grand in benefit, and all you need is my name, my email address, my zip code, and that's it. This is the start of that funnel process. The minute they do this, and this is why it's imperative you get people to this page, is because once they get in this funnel, this button right here, this next button, 37.5% of the people that click that next button go on to convert. They go on to generate a commission for you. Okay. So you've got to get people to this page. Now, how are you going to get people to this page? That's where I can't get back to it now. That's where your blueprint comes in. If you don't know where to start, just follow these steps. Kendra, I believe the blueprint is in the wrap-up email. And if not, it's right on your page right now. But this right here is what you're going to do.
Just bookmark it too when you're there. You can get to it through the toolbox, but bookmark it, because every single month when we do the broadcast, all your new tools, all of your items are in your blueprint for whatever is being focused on for that month.
So that is it for us this month. I want to thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. I loved all the comments and things like that. And Kendra, we'll see them in
Don't
just
forget
a few
10%
weeks.
commission bonus now through December 31st, guys. 10% additional.
Absolutely. We'll see you in a month. Thanks, guys. Thanks, gals.